Hi, today we are going to talk about accounting. The basic concept that we want to work is to understand the difference between the personal accounting and business accounting, to identify which could be considered as a cost as an expense talking about accounting, and to discover the importance of a notebook. One of the main objectives of these courses for the women that are starting a business is to teach how important it is to separate the personal finances with the business finances, because if they start a business and that business is growing suddenly, they are not going to see the necessity to separate the personal expenses with the corporate expenses, let's say in that way. So you have to teach them how to understand how the financial and economic health of your business can be affected if you don't do that. Obviously, if you separate those finances, you are going to be aware of if you are making profit or you are making losses. And also, that is very important is to have access for credit and for doing taxes. There I put an article that is very simple, that explains like in one paragraph what is important to separate the personal finances with the business finances. So the best solution that we have found here in Colombia when you're starting a business is that you have to assign a salary for you and your family and do not treat business cash as yours. What happens usually here in Colombia is that all the people that are working on a business, they suddenly think that the cash that the business is producing belongs personally to the family. So they start to consume business resources, which at the end is going to create losses. You're not going to see how healthy is your finances, and if you want to ask for a credit, the first thing that they are going to ask you is like to separate that personal finances with the business finance. And also something important to have in mind is that salary should be proportional to the development of your business, which means that you should not assign to you a huge salary if the company is not producing enough revenue, is not giving to us enough revenues to pay those salaries. If you're like the CEO of the head of the business, also you have to take into account that if you are going to have operators, you should think, okay, I have a salary, but at the same time I'm going to pay first to my workers, and then I will pay to myself after reaching the break-even point. So the main thing that you have to take into account is how to differentiate between a cost and an expense, because what happens a lot of on like daily is that people start to confuse what is a cost and expense. You have to ask to yourself if the economic fact is related with production. As for instance, I'm paying for some purchases of direct materials. I'm paying for some rice, for some oil that I need for cooking. Obviously, there is a cost, but because it's related with the production. But if we are talking about transportation for the product, sales commission, that is not related with the production, so you have to separate them very carefully. Obviously, like the main financial statements are income statement, balance sheet, and the statement of cash flow. However, we want to do it sorry. Obviously, if you want to do it on the long way, you should teach what is a revenue, what is an expense, what is an asset, the cost principle on conservatism, depreciation, liabilities, and the stakeholders' equity. However, there is an easier way to do it, is just to have a notebook. One part is going to be related with the expenses. The other part are going to be for the purchases. The other part are going to be for the personal expenses and the sales, credit and cash, date, item, and amount. And take it in, like thinking that purchases are going to be all the cost of direct materials and also could be of the direct manufacturing labor, and then this is the easiest way to start an accounting system, just with a notebook. It is what we teach here. For the women that are starting a business, it's something easy. Just divide the notebook in 4 parts. One for expenses, saying the date, the item, and the amount. The other part with purchases of direct materials or on the time that you are using to produce one unit by the value of the hour. Your personal expenses, to remember to not confused with the business economic facts, and the sales. You have to take into account very carefully about credit sales and cash sales, because usually what happens is that what we call here is we have a word that is fiar. That you say to the person, I'm going to pay you in 3 days for that lunch. I'm going to pay you for that yearly, I don't know, in 1 month. So that is a huge problem, because you are putting away your product and you are giving to a person in particular, and you have to charge that money later. So be careful with sales, with credit sales. The ones that are the better are on the cash sales. So thank you for listening to me, and we are going to continue on the cost accounting topic later.